Okay, we actually have another award to give out today. It's named after my predecessor, the first and very distinguished CEO and president of the National Association for Home Care, Val J. Halamandris. We were great friends. We were great colleagues. Tremendous respect you should have for an individual who brought so much to bringing health care services at home was Val. And when he died in July of 2017, we knew what the first thing that had to be done to carry on a memory of Val, and that's the Val J. Halamandris Award for Caring, Innovation, and Inspiration. All those ingredients were the DNA of Val Halamandris. So over the years, we've only awarded this now to 3 individuals. One, I mentioned yesterday, Mary Souther, an original board member to the National Association. Also to Ruth Constant, who I mentioned yesterday too, a long-standing board member and chairman of the National Association for Home Care, and Bill Simeone Jr. Many of you may not know Bill Simeone Jr. the way you know Bill Simeone III. Bill Simeone Jr. actually was the foundation of creating our HHFMA group and so much more. 3 highly deserving individuals to get the Val J. Halamandris Award for Caring, Innovation, and Inspiration. Well, we know many people should be considered for this, and only a few ultimately will be chosen. We've made another choice in doing so. We have a brief video which will introduce that individual to you, and following that he'll be further introduced with some remarks by a close friend of his.
Congressman Wilbur Joseph Tauzin II, or Billy, as he's best known to so many, was born in 1943 in Check Bay, Louisiana, a small rural Cajun community near Thibodaux in southeastern Louisiana. He graduated from Nicholls State University in 1964 with a Bachelor of Arts degree and went on to earn his law degree from Louisiana State University in 1967. He served as a legislative aide in the Louisiana State Senate while attending law school. Billy began his 34-year career in elected office in his hometown. He achieved a resounding first primary victory, earning his first 4-year term in the Louisiana State House of Representatives. He would be recognized as one of Louisiana's 10 best legislators and rose to the position of Chief House Majority Leader and Chairman of the important Natural Resources Committee with jurisdiction over both energy and environment. In 1980, Congressman Tauzin sought and won election in the U.S. Congress seat being vacated by newly elected Governor David Treen. He began a 25-year career representing Louisiana's 3rd Congressional District, comprising the Cajun parishes located between New Orleans, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. He held many important chairmanships, including the U.S. Coast Guard Committee, the Panama Canal Committee, and the Telecommunications Committee. He was eventually appointed chair of the powerful, the oldest, and most jurisdictionally diverse committee of Congress, the Energy and Commerce Committee. Chairman Tauzin conducted the historic Enron hearings and others like it, such as the Ford Firestone hearings, which produced the first comprehensive reform of highway safety laws since the 1930s. He also floor managed the passage of the historic Medical Part D reform to Medicare, providing seniors with coverage for their vital medications. Congressman Tauzin holds some extraordinary distinctions. He is the first and only U.S. Congressman in American history to hold leadership positions in both major political parties, serving 15 years as a conservative Democrat without ever being challenged for re-election by a Republican, and then 10 years as a Republican, never once challenged by a Democrat. In the late 90s, Congressman Tauzin led one of the most memorable and meaningful campaigns of his career for a national retail sales tax to replace the federal income tax and abolish the IRS. It was, to say the least, a lively campaign, with Congressman Tauzin debating then Majority Leader Dick Armey, who was campaigning for a flat income tax. In 2004, as he was being heavily courted to retire and assume the position of president of the Motion Picture Association, Congressman Tauzin was diagnosed with a rare form of intestinal cancer. Forced to leave Congress and his chairmanship behind, he began a year-long battle for his life. Given less than a 1% chance of survival, the congressman not only overcame those great odds, but in January 2005, he assumed the presidency of PhRMA, the trade association representing the drug discoverers who had just saved his life. Over the next 5.5 years, Congressman Tauzin helped shepherd the industry through the turbulent years of healthcare reform and left the important legacy of a new patients' assistance program, now providing over 6 million needy Americans with free medicines they could not otherwise afford, and a new program to help close the so-called donut hole of Medicare coverage. In 2006, the National Association for Home Care and Hospice honored him with the Mother Teresa Lifetime Achievement Award, a recognition reserved for role models who are particularly known for their service to others. When Billy Tauzin first joined LHC Group as lead director in 2005, the home health industry did not have a stellar reputation. Industry leaders were working hard to improve their position, and the way in which the service they provided was viewed by the public and by regulators. Billy believed in the home healthcare industry and in the potential this service had to provide improved care for those most in need. Having just chaired the congressional investigations into Enron, his experience and insight into governance, compliance, and ethics from a corporate director's perspective was, and always has been, invaluable. He has served as a friend and mentor for so many industry leaders as they grappled with a constantly shifting healthcare landscape. It's impossible to properly summarize in just one short video the role that Congressman W.J. Billy Tauzin has played in the growth and success of the home healthcare sector. Billy's wisdom, experience, and friendship have been invaluable to our industry. Congressman Tauzin, thank you for sharing your talents and so much of yourself with so many people involved in shaping and growing the kind of quality home care we are able to provide today. We consider ourselves extraordinarily fortunate.
Billy, please join us. God bless you, man.
You're a great guy. Great guy. Now, we would lose an opportunity if we didn't give Billy a chance to say a few words in a few minutes' time.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you, Keith. Can you hold that for me? Just a couple of words. First of all, to honor Val Halamandris, he once told me a story how when Mother Teresa met him, without knowing him, without knowing what he did, how she walked up to him and put her finger up at his big chest and said, "You and I are in the same business. We take care of people, sick people in our homes." Hal relayed that story to me when we were talking about Mother Teresa and her enormous life and service to fellow man. And the other thing I want to mention to you is the incredible visit that Keith Myers of LHC Group allowed me to have with a home care visit when I was a young member of Congress. I'll never forget visiting that patient in Kramer, Louisiana, a little podunk place outside of Chack Bay, even smaller than Chack Bay, where a distant relative of mine was alone, lonely, sick at home, and Keith allowed me to visit, along with the home health nurse, that individual, and I got a chance to see what a joy it was for that man to have someone to come to his home and care for him. And I became a great fan at that moment of this industry and more importantly, of each one of you who give your lives in service to people who gave their lives to educate us and give us a chance to have a decent life in this great country. So first of all, I want to thank you for that. Thank you for being a part of something very special in America that doesn't exist in most parts of the world, where we care so much for the people that cared for us in their homes, where they most want to live their last years. I've had the pleasure, Bill, of presenting this kind of an award to others, and it's always presented to them as they get closer to death at the end of their careers. I hope you haven't given it to me prematurely, but I want to mention to you that there was a moment when I should have died. There were several moments. I rolled a car over 8 or 9 times and walked away from it. I survived an assassination attempt in Honduras at Tegucigalpa. Most importantly, I was given just a 1% chance to survive after the pancreatic cancer surgery I had. And yet, 18 years from then, I'm still here. But I want to tell you about the moment when I thought it was over. When I was 7 days out of the Whipple surgery in the hospital in Baltimore, and I took the sacrament of last penance of my church, said goodbye to my wife and my family, and prepared to meet my Creator. Nothing was working, nothing was coming back. My organs were beginning to fail. And I woke up in the middle of that night and I felt hands holding me up. It was the hands of prayers, people all over this country. It was the healing, loving hands of prayer. And amazingly, I woke up and everything was functioning again, and I had to make a decision about what was going to be important to me for the rest of my life with this God-given chance to live again. And I recall I asked myself, what's relevant now? What is really relevant now? And the answer I got was the only thing relevant anymore was the people I loved and the people who dared to love me. I tell you that because that's what makes your work so critical. We don't leave this life with anything other than the love we have shared with people who need us and depend upon us, and the love they return to us. You do that so well. You do that so caringly for so many people. You make lives so much better by what you do in your life that I am honored to have been a part of it with you. I want to thank you for sticking with it, for fighting the good fight to make sure that home health and hospice is respected by every member who dares to represent this great country in Congress. Whatever years I have left, I intend to stay close with you. Bill, I've offered you privately, I want to offer you publicly anything I can do in this wonderful years that God has allowed me to continue to be with you. Anything I could do to make this industry better, to help you in the battles you fight in Congress, and more importantly, to ensure that the American public appreciates and rewards you for the incredible love you share with this nation in the work you do every day, every night, in the life of our country. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. God bless you, and know that this old fellow really appreciates the fact that you remembered the long years we shared together. It ain't over yet. I want to make sure you know that and call upon me when you need me. God bless you, and thank you.
I asked for one thing as part of this award, which was to reserve just some final comments about our great friend Billy Tauzin. It's going to bring it all home. I mean, he talked from his heart, which demonstrates that caring. He talked about, his work in his life, which focusing on the innovation, two of the elements of this award, or inspiration. But innovation is one that he left out for me to talk about. Because here's the last visual I want you to have of this great man's work on behalf of what you do. It's the year 2003. Some 30 years after another great hero for home care, Claude Pepper, removed from the Medicare law through his advocacy a requirement of a copayment that was going to be a barrier to access to care. 31 years later, the threat has reemerged. We don't have a copay in home health care. It's thanks to Billy Tauzin. And the visual being, imagine this great man up on a table in a meeting with the then chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, he being chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee, and he's literally stamping his feet saying, over my dead body, will you see this copayment come back to home health care? So he has been with us forever. He has made incredible progress with us as well there too. So thank you, sir, for all that you've done.